Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today we are going to discuss a new question from top interview 150 Leetcode, and the question name is gas station. This is a medium level question, and in this question what we have been given is we have been given n gas stations. Okay, so basically what we have to do, let's say we have a circular route. Okay, and we will be starting from an index. We can start from any index, and like let's say we have this we have this example. Okay, so we can start from any index, and like we have 5 gas stations here, right? So let's name it as 0 1 2 3 4, right? Now we have 5 gas stations, and we can start from any gas station, right? And what we have to do, at every gas station we can get some amount of gas. And also we have been given here that our car tank can contain any amount of fuel, so we don't have to worry about anything like what about the amount of gas that has to be intaken. The car has unlimited gas tank, so you can add any amount of gas as required. And we have been given a cost, so to travel from one place to another we will be using up some gas, right? So we have been given that cost to travel from one gas station to another. And like let's say I have a cost of 3 here, and the gas station at 0 is giving me 4 liter of fuel. Okay, so I can travel from this 0th gas station to the first gas station, right? Because the cost is 3 only, and I have 4 liters of fuel. Now let's say if at the 0th index or the 0th gas station I got only 2 liters of fuel, right? Now it is not possible for me to start this journey from the 0th index, right? So we need to take care of this thing, that whenever the gas at that station gas will become less, then we will not be able to start our journey from that index. So now we know that we have some conditions, that if we are starting from the index where the gas station become less than the cost, then it is not possible to start a journey from there. Now let's say we are on the first index. Okay, so the journey from 0 to 1, let's say it took 3 liter of fuel, so we were not able to start our journey from there. Now from 1 to 2, let's say the cost for the journey is 4 liters, and I am able to get 4 liter of fuel at this index, right, at the first index. So I can start my journey from the first index, right? So this is what we are supposed to do here. We need to find a way such that we will be able to start a journey from one index to another, and then we will move forward in that way. Okay, so now let's go through the problem description properly again. Now here what we have been given, that we have been given n gas station which follow a circular route. Now from whichever index you are starting, if you have a proper journey, you will come back to that means to that starting index only, then only you will have a proper circular route. If you are not able to reach that same index, that means you cannot find a route. If it is not able to reach the starting index, means after the last index you are not able to reach the starting index. Okay, it is only possible if we start from an index and we reach the same index at last. So if we are not able to get that route, then we have to return -1. Otherwise what we have to do here, we need to return the starting index. Okay, so what we have been told here, we have a car with an unlimited gas tank, and it cost of I of gas. Yeah, so as I told that for traveling from one index to another we will be using up some gas, and the cost is also provided. Okay, so it has been mentioned that we start our journey with empty gas tank, and from whichever gas tank we will start, we will be taking up let's say now we are starting up from the 0th index. Okay, and the cost for that index is 3, so it is not possible for me to start the journey from here, right? Because the gas tank can only take 1 liter of fuel, and the possible value to start my journey, or the cost for starting the journey, is 3 liters. So I cannot start from the 0th index. That is what mentioned here, that you begin the journey with an empty tank at one of the gas station, and after you have started, it should complete the cost of the means value that is required for the completion of the journey. Okay, so now we have been given two arrays, gas and cost, and we need to return the like starting index from where we can like complete our entire route. And if we are able to complete the entire route, well and good, we can return the answer. And if we are not able to do so, we will be returning -1. Okay, so let's see this example. Okay, now we have the gas as 1 2 3 4 5, and the cost that we will be having is 3 4 5 1 2. Now we see that if we are starting from the 0th index, okay, so the cost is 3 and I only have 1 liter or 1 unit of fuel. I cannot start my journey from here, right? Because the cost is more than the amount of gas that I have. So I cannot start from this index. Now I move on to the like first index. So I see that the gas amount is 2, but I need 4 unit of fuel to start from that index. I don't have that much, right? So I will just move on to the other index, and I will see if it is possible from the other index or not. So the cost for starting from this index will be 5, and I only have 3 units, right? It is not possible for me to start from this index also. Therefore, what I will do, I will simply move on to the other index. Now I will be reaching to the third index. I see that I have 4 units of fuel, and the cost required to start the journey from here is only 1 unit. So I find a possibility that yeah, I can start my journey from this index, right? So what I can do here, I will be like we have a prediction now that my start point can be from the third index, right? So we see that we have a proper difference here. Okay, now let's see how we have like how we can predict that we can start from here. Okay, so the difference between this is 4 minus 1, it is 3. So now I have 3 units of like 3 unit of fuel to move forward, right? So when I move to this index, I see that I have 5 units of fuel and I will be utilizing only 2 units of fuel. So simply my 3 will be getting added up with 5 and only 2 unit of fuel will be subtracted. So what I will be getting here, I will be getting 6 here, right? Now I have traveled from 4 to 5. Now let's see if I can come back to 1 or not, right? So let's see if I can come back to 1. So I see here that the amount of fuel that I have is 6 here, and one more unit will get added. So I will have 6 plus 1 7, and the cost will be only 3, right? So what will happen? I have 4 unit of fuel left out with me, right? So from 5 to 1 is possible. So from 4 to 5 to 1 is possible route. Now we see that if we can go to 2 or not. So the amount of fuel that is left with us is 4. So 4 plus 2 we will be getting minus, and we have to reduce the cost also. So we will be reducing the cost here. And what do we get here? We get 2, right? Now we will be moving on to the second index, and we see that we have 3. So we will be adding 2 plus 3, and the amount or the cost we have here is 5. So we are left out with 0. Now we started from the third index and we were able to reach the like second index from here. Means we have completed a complete circle, right? So now we have a possible route, right? So we can go from 4 to 5 to 1, and then we can go back to 2 and 3 also. So if like we were subtracting this value before only, now let's say I start from here, I do not subtract it, right? I will be subtracting this value only after I reach 5th, right? So let's say I have done 4 minus 1 plus 5. In this way, if I do, I will see that I can reach 4. Okay, and we have been mentioned this we have been mentioned this in the question that if there is a solution that is possible, it is guaranteed to be unique. Okay, so if you have a solution, you will get a proper starting index. Okay, so let's say there is a condition, we have one more condition such that we are starting somewhere but we are not able to reach the last index. What happens then is the total cost that will have, the total cost will be greater than the total gas amount that we have. In such condition, we will not be able to reach the starting index after completing a circular route, right? So in such condition, when the total cost will become greater than the total gas that we have, we will be returning -1. Okay, so we need to be clear about this, that the total cost should be less than or equal to the total gas that we have. Okay, total cost will should never be like greater than the total gas, otherwise we will not be able to complete a circular route. Okay, now what we let's move on to the approach for this question. So we know this, that we will be iterating in a loop, right? So we will be starting from the 0th index and we will be going till less than n. That is clear to us. And we know that somehow when we have calculated the total value, total gas and total cost, then this value should either be greater or equals to the total cost, right? So if let's say I am storing the difference of both of them, right? Now let's say I have a total value in which I am storing the difference for both of them, which means that I have a total value where I am storing the difference like this: gas of I minus cost of I. So if I am doing like I am finding the sum of the differences, this means if my total is greater than or equals to 0, then only I can return a valid result, right? If it is less, then I have to return -1. Why? Means I am subtracting gas from cost, right? If the gas will be like more than the cost, then the total value will already be positive, or if both amounts are equal, we will get a 0 value. So we are therefore equating for greater than or equals to 0, right? So let's say we are storing the start index, okay, in index value. So we will be initializing it with 0, and when the total value is greater than or equals to 0, we will return the index here. Now we know that we have to return an index value only when the total is greater than equals to 0, and otherwise what we have to do, we will return -1. Now we have the basic concept of what we have to follow. Now the question comes, how do we find the starting index, right? Means we have this array, okay, we have the gas value as 1 2 3 4 5 and the cost is 3 4 5 and 1 2. Okay, so what I have to check here, in order to get a valid start index, I need to have a like the difference between these two, right? It should be a positive value, right? Means if like I am doing 1 minus 3, then I am getting -2 as the result. If I am not having the proper gas amount to complete the cost, I will not be able to move forward. So it is not valid, right? It is not valid starting point. Therefore what I can do here, if I am maintaining a current cost, okay, and in that what I am doing, I am adding up the values: current cost plus gas of I minus cost of I. Okay, so this is not the total value, this is the current value, to check every position if we are getting a positive value or not. Okay, now let's say we have this. Okay, now what we can do, let's say I move to this this is not a valid like condition, right? Because when I do 1 minus 3, I will be getting a negative value and I cannot start from this index. So this is for sure that if my current cost is less than 0, then I cannot put any value in that, right? So I will simply like continue from here. If my current cost is less than 0, I will continue. And where will I continue, right? Means the value that I have here, if it is less than 0, this is not a possible start index, right? But I can expect that my start index will be after this. So what I can do here, before continuing, I can assign a start index which will be I plus 1. So what I will do here, I will update the start to I plus 1, and I need to update my current cost also, because I cannot carry a negative value. Because let's say now, if we have value here, we have minus 2, and let's say we had the cost here as 4. Okay, so we required 4, we had 4 unit of gas, and the cost required was also 4. And if I was carrying the negative value from previous one, then this value will also turn into negative value, and I cannot, like, I can, means this could have been a possible start position, and I would have missed that because I was carrying a negative value with me. So in order to avoid that, what we can do, if the value of current cost is less than 0, I can, like, simply re-update my current cost to 0 and change my starting, like, or the expected start index to I plus 1. Okay, so this is 0 and this is I plus 1. Now we'll move back to the previous example only. Now my I is here, right? And this is the, like, this is the cost. I am seeing that again I am getting a negative cost here. So again what will happen, my start index, the valid or the expected start index, will move on to the second index, because if I am having a negative value, it is not possible for me to move forward. So for that, what I will do, I will increment the start index with I plus 1. And what will happen here, this current cost that I have here, it will be re-updated to 0. Now I will be moving on to the second index. I see that I have 3 and the cost required is 5. Again I am getting a negative value here, right? So what I will do here, again my start will get updated to I plus 1. So start is 3 here, and the current cost is again updated to 0. So current will become 0. Now when I come to this index, to the third index, I see that I am having a positive current cost. So I will not be going inside this condition now. Means I am already, I have already found a satisfied starting index where I can start my journey, as I am getting a positive value here. So I will simply store this. This will not, there will be no changes in the start index now, and the current will also carry the value as mentioned. Okay, so what we have, the current cost here, we have 3 as the current cost. This will get updated to 3, and again we will move here. Now we will find the difference. We have 5 minus 2, which will give us 3, and 3 plus 3 will get updated to 6. Now we will reach the end of the array, right? Till now we have positive value, and now since we found a possibility to start the index or start our journey, then we can say that the route, the circular route is possible. So we will simply return that start index with 3. Now why do we do that? Because we are already checking a condition here, if the total value is greater than 0 or not. If it is not greater than 0 or not greater than or equals to 0, then we will not be returning this index or the start that we have taken here. We will only return the value if we are getting the total, like the total difference, as greater than or equals to 0. Okay, so we are already checking the edge condition here. Let's say we already, like in the previous question, we have proper gas and cost, we are getting 0, so it is returning the value. Now there can be a condition where we are getting a start index, but the cost will become greater than the gas. Okay, so in such condition we need to return minus 1, and if we are not checking this condition, we will get a wrong answer. To avoid that, we are checking if the total gas amount is greater than the cost amount or not. Okay, so now let's move on to the code, and we will see our see how this code works. So let's see the code now. Okay, so what we were doing, first we were declaring a start index. Okay, and the other thing what we were doing is we were iterating in the array, right? So we will start iteration and we will see how it goes. So we will be starting the iteration for in n, and we will declare this n is length of, we will be using total for storing the total value. So we will be having a total and current value. So current also we will be initializing with 0. Right. Now we have total value. So we will be finding the total plus is equals to gas of I minus cost of I. Current as I said previously, let's see, before moving on, let's see this example. Okay, so we have been given the gas as 234. Okay, and the cost here is 343. Now when we were going through the like implementation, let's say we are not checking the total. Okay, and we are just we are totally depending on the current value to get the start index, and we are returning it. Okay, so what will happen now? Let's see, we have, okay, the for the zeroth index we are having gas value is less than cost. Okay, so we will not be taking this value again. Now 3 for the first index also we are facing the same problem. Now when we come on to the second index, we see that the value of gas is greater than the cost, so we will be getting a start index here. But now let's see if we can complete our journey or not. The total for gas we are getting here is 9, right? And for the cost we have 10, means we have the total gas value less than the cost value, so anyhow we will not be able to complete our journey. But we are getting a start index here, and if we are not checking the total, then we will be returning the start index, but the expected value might have been -1, right? So in order to do a proper verification, we are checking if the total is greater than equals to 0 or not. Okay, so now we have a current value, and we will check if current is less than 0. Then what we have to do, we were starting incrementing the start index by 1, and what we were doing, we were like reinitiating current with 0, right? We can write continue also, we cannot also, it is your choice. And now what we have to do, out of this loop we need to check if total is greater than or equals to 0, then only we can return the start index. Okay, otherwise you need to return -1. So else you need to return -1. Now let's try to run this. So the sample test cases are passed. Let's try to submit it. So this code has been accepted. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please let me know in the comments, and in case you have any doubts, let me know in the comment too, so I can try to clarify it more. And in order to continue with me in this coding journey, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you will be notified every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching.